Hey, church. I'm back. Um, had a vacation, uh, a staycation. Stayed at home. Kids were on spring break, and I hadn't taken a Sunday off in forever, so got to spend some time with Bethany's family. Um, Hotel with a pool. It was good. And having that time away reminds me about the kind of the three kinds of Sabbath. It's three kinds. There's the weekly orientation, right? Uh, how many days are there in a week? And from where did we get that? The creation story. 6 days God worked, and on the seventh, she rested. Now, what day of the week is it? Our Hebrew brothers and sisters would say that's Saturday, starting at Friday at sundown through Saturday, sundown. Christians, because of the resurrection of Jesus, move our Sabbath day to Sunday because it is on the third day Jesus rose from the dead. And how you practice a Sabbath, man, as many denominations as there are, that's kind of the understanding of what Sabbath might mean. I think some of it comes from the originating story. One way to see the Bible. So, what's the first book of the Bible? Genesis. Right. Who, according to legend, wrote the first book of the Bible? Well, first 5 books of the Bible were supposedly written by Moses. That's the legend. And it's a pretty good one. What I would like to think, but consider this. If the Bible, if the Torah was not written until Moses, that means it was written by former Egyptian slaves. So, kinda, Exodus is the first book because that's telling you the story of the Egyptian slaves. And they are writing, and Moses or whoever writes it then is writing the story of how they got there. I love that. It's a prequel. And part of the slavery in Egypt is bricks without break. Your value as a slave is how many bricks you can make. And here comes this God. A God that says, a God that is a creator, a God whose first function is creation, and still takes a break. 6 days works, and on the 7th rests. For those of you who are like me and kind of thrive off of work, hear that part of the story. Even God takes a break. Now, what breaks look like? That's a lot of the rest of the Old Testament. And to some question for Christians. Because, we're coming up on Easter, and that's a big holiday. And, we don't have to work, and it's a federally recognized holiday. It's East. And to me, Easter, like, even if I wasn't a pastor, Easter feels like a lot of work. You have a big meal to prep for. You got to have family. You got to be communicating over who's going where. You got to prep the house if they're coming to your place. If you're going to go to their place, you got to prep your vehicle. Make sure that it's going to be, that your car is okay, and that what you're going to bring can be transported well. If you got kids, oh man, the back of your trunk is going to look like you're headed to the airport. You got so much stuff. So how is Easter a break? Well, it's not. It's because Easter is a feast. And feast, while good for the soul, I don't think we should classify as a break. I don't think we get to classify our festivals, our feasts, our big, high, holy days as rest. Ooh. So, are you taking your rest? Are you finding some rhythm or pattern to remind yourself that whatever it is you produce, that is not the sum of who you are. That is not your inherent value. It is not the dollars in your bank account or the number of widgets under your name. It is not the number of sermons per year you preach. Well, my friends, I look forward to seeing you Sunday. I've missed you. Till then.